In this video, I want to create a special environment for this model. So this is 1920 street model from a Polish and purchased on the DOS 3D. After I preset, exported in special way to the, so I can use it in a view. I have a special videos about how to have your settings set up so you can export with the texture properly, everything. After you export, sadly, you need a little bit tweak with some elements like set properly bump map and so on with the model if you want the look very good inside the view. So after all of this completed, and how I said before, I have a video, you can watch how to do this. Now I want to set up lights and environments inside this model. And a couple things when I play around, I'm like, you know what, I would prefer to create maybe like nighttime shot. And for this, we'll just take our sunlight and put it under horizon, okay? So right here, we should have it absolutely black. You notice some lighting on a sign, and those lightings, it's what I was applying inside the material when you're going in a model. And inside the model, you actually going and modify, okay, let me select like model, and you're going and you set on the materials, special luminosity up and so on. Again, this is, I have a video about how to do this, how to create those objects and create, but they're not necessarily all luminance very nice, does not project, so I don't like how they look, and I want to add a little bit more. So I created additional lighting, and right here some of the group of those lightings. Okay, let's enable, and you can see it just put it by the street light and everything. Okay, that is look already more interesting by itself, but let's go a step next. I was thinking, what if I want to add a fog, maybe even pollution fog, I don't know, something very low and true volumetric things. How we can do this? We have it actually multiple ways. The one thing, it's a fake way to do, we can put it up front of the camera gradient, and about 3 years ago I think I did a video how to do that. It's render very fast and it's fun, and you know what, I may put a link down below on that video how to do fake way. And many actual render engines will do this. They will just create the fake render, and so you look, because overall, what is a fog? Fog, it's lost in contrast and lost in details. And that is what will create it. However, I want to do true volumetric fog that will affect by lights on the pots, so it will create glow and other things. In a view, we have several ways we can create this. We can create by apply some material, maybe even create like a example cube. Okay, take this cube stretch as we want to go and apply volumetric material to this cube. Yeah, you know what, I was playing with this and I don't like result. I was thinking, what about if we just take it and use it cloud layer? And that's actually what we're going to do. We'll take a cloud layer, as a fog it is, it's cloud very low, and we'll drop down to the ground. So for this one, let's go first, and we want to add some cloud to this. Okay, let's go ahead. Okay, we'll open and we'll just preload some cloud. And you know what, let's go take thick struct cameras. Doesn't really matter because we'll go to compress this quite a bit, and we'll just open that one. Okay, right here we have it, the cloud, and our cloud, if we look up, it's actually way high right there. We could manually drop down, but I think we cannot do too accurate, so we'll use it positioning. We'll use our altitude and we'll use it our height. So let's go for now. We'll just set about 25 meters. We don't need a very high set altitude for this, but the height, here's what we're going to do. If we, problem with the clouds, what I found out, if we set altitude to like 0, it will start collide with the ground and does not render. So what we want to do, we want on altitude set maybe about 5 centimeters. So we want to have it just a little bit above the ground. We don't want on the ground or other things. Of course, we can modify even more. We can move even higher from the ground, maybe even like 10 centimeters. You can play around and see which one, what is the way it's working for you. But you can notice right here, we have absolutely no effect. We don't see that because our density is very low and our cover, even it's 100%, but still not up to there. So let's go pop up our density, and I'm going to put it like 800%. So we can do this one. Let's go 100% on opacity. We'll start adding on, and you know what? You can see just a little bit it starts showing up, but definitely not how much we wanted. Let's go preview, take a little bit higher because I want to be sure we render properly, and priority high. So yeah, we'll set properly in this preview. Remember, actually surprisingly, when I did this test, the render wasn't so slow. So it was actually going with good speed afterwards. But for the previews for this, I will just use the preview camera right there. Okay, so next we have this. We don't need really sharpness. Let's, I move that away. Take sharpness all the way down. Feathering, we will play with this because feathering, will affect the edge, how much is from end to top collision. So we'll play with this. Our details amount, we can pop up to the 100 right now at this point. Okay, and let's go look altitude variation. This one will play probably a little bit more with those two properties, and we want to just pop up ambient light and taking this down. Okay, so let's go ahead and edit some of the cloud properties. In a density and roughness, so let's go pop up a little bit on the roughness. We don't see it right now, but it will come up very handy. And we'll just pop up variations overall. We'll leave it uniformity about same. Can just make it a little bit smaller. But usually we'll just leave this as default. We can go to lighting effects, and in the lighting effects, we'll just want to be sure we don't want internal shadows. It will save time. We don't really want to cast shadows. This also will save the time on us on the rendering. We'll leave it just as below. One thing, you maybe want to low density quality pop up so we don't have it that much grain. And like I said before, it's won't increase that much in rendering, and we'll leave it volumetric light. So this is look good. Let's go back to our atmosphere editor. But like I say, we don't see really something changing. Right here it's changed. See, we have a 2 meters. Let's go put it 25 meters. That should make different. And you can see right here we start already getting this fog up here, right there, dark, nice fog, because it's go with the lighting. To affect this fog on the lighting, we want to create a special group. And you know what, if I re-enable, you can see right here, this is lighting group. We don't necessarily need this group. This is our another lighting group. Okay, this is our more lighting group, and we'll just need it. Re-enable. Let me find right here. This is a group I created. Okay, and this one is to light up our clouds. One thing when you create just lighting, because other one groups won't yet affecting the lighting, and the reasons why they don't, because this option by default is disabled. So influence spectral clouds, this option you want probably just click and re-enable. Then the lights we created will affect the power, will affect our cast lights on the clouds. Just an example, right now it's power 2. See, if I put it power 20, quite a bit higher, you can see how fog start glowing from them. So this way we can control brightness of our fog. But again, I want to go in a dark, so I want to go maybe even 3 for now, so we can preview. But I want kind of like dark lower length fog appearing here. So this is what we've done with when we pop up covers, all these details. Next couple interesting options you can play around. Altitude variation will give it a lot of effect. For example, Right now we have it altitude variation 100. However, we can actually type in different values. Let's say 300 at this point. Look on this edge, what will happen here. It will start going up and down more. And let's go next, even pop up to 500. You saw how this changing right here, and 500 will give it even better effect. So now we start going up and down a little bit more in the clouds. It's not just up, we have those movements. Density somewhere like in this area lower, on the right is a little bit higher. Those is different by the scale. So if we pop up to 0.2 our scale, the clouds will come. See how they spread now? That is different. So if you want more detailed fog, keep it your details lower. And if you want just overall fill up, go up. So let's say, for example, if we go 0.3, you'll see on the small, we'll have it much more fog kind of start filling and rising a little bit even higher. So on this look more kind of darker fog. I don't know what we can call this, kind of in a street, maybe hiding. We also can increase details variation. So let's go say back to 0.2 and the details currently in 100, and we'll just pop up to 200 number of details. And you'll see how very interesting our details come up. So we'll have it a little bit lower, but we have these patches now appear of our fog. Yeah, so of course, if we want to increase the how far fog going, if we're going all the way, we can always pop up this one maybe to 50 meters. Not 0 meters, 50 meters. Okay, and that will increase our layer for atmosphere of clouds. And you can see now we have this going all the way up. I'm sure I will go using this fog and my cyberpunk or futuristic streets when we go and create the neon lights and everything. This will be very good lighting to create this kind of mystery look. Again, this is a dark fog because we have it no lighting, nothing. We can add this lighting in a group. Remember, we can go add maybe even 6 power. Be sure it's affecting, and you can see now fog start glowing. If we want to affect fog be affected from our lamps, it's what I said before. So let's go for now. We'll just disable that group, hide away so it does not affect it. And we can say this is okay, this is top group. I just need to find one that I created for street lamps. Okay, we have it. Yeah, this is sign group, and there's our street light groups. Notice right here we did not enable. So what's happening if I check the affecting clouds? You can see now the clouds there start glowing. Okay, let's go drop to 25 meters. So we'll clean up a little bit on the top, but we'll have it bottom open. And there we have it, our lights affecting and making our fog glowing. You can play also with the density if you need it. For example, right now 800%. Let's say if we want to put it to 10,000% of the density, that we will see how our lights much more dense, less distribution. So in this case, we can play with the settings as well. Okay, I think maybe even to 700, drop down. I just want to be sure the light's going a little bit nicer. And power on our group, that is a different pair of lights. So it's the reason why there's not showing here power, but we can go to individual light and change. And also those individual lights, we can also says, hey, which one light affecting? For example, we can say this light does not affect. This close up, let's leave it as affecting. This one on the side, let's don't affect. So we can play around with positions, so we can create these pockets. You can see how this does not affect. So it's become darker, but this is lighter. And we can create those layers, left, right side, darker, brighter. So it will create patches and dimensions of the fog. One thing why we want to do this, that this is 2D render. And in 2D render, a color is optional information. Luminosity, only black and white, is what gives us true information of the object shape. With highlighting and making less, that is what gives us perception of the shape of how clouds look. And closer, usually we have it higher contrast. Far away, we have it low contrast. So it's meaning if less change on the back, we'll see this depth. We have the ability to kind of extrapolate. Our brain will work with this. So again, I can go around and just disable on some elements up and down and so on. This is kind of fun things to play around. Remember, this is options that will affect our fog. One, you need to have an altitude above 0. So let's go just for fun. We'll say -5 centimeters. So we want to be sure we are below the ground, our layer of the cloud touching. And notice what's happening. It's gone because it starts to interact with collision of the surface and it won't render. So we want to be sure we at least little bit above the ground. And when we're above the ground, then it will be render. Okay, next, by the way, 0, if we're putting just 0 in here, it won't work either. So you want to be in a positive numbers. So right here, 0 meters, 0, 0, you can see it is collision detected. So, but if we put it just at least 1 centimeter, it should be fine. Okay, the height, it will going, again, this is does not tell, hey, I'm cutting right here. This is a mean. So it will go up to this level. And when we going up, those values that will affecting tethering. So if we pop up to 100%, you will see how a little bit change on distribution. So feathering will affect this. And now with feathering, we're coming a little bit closer to the edge actually of this element. So let's go take our feathering a little bit less. And with a less feathering, that will also produce for us kind of more effect on the top. Okay, our details amount, it is increased when they're creating that fractal. These details, it's how many of those contrast on the fractals, which is create small details. Notice right here, sometimes when the rendering, we hit the top. So let's go just pop up feathering at least about like maybe 30, 40. So just avoid those, sharp lines to the edge. So it will get a little bit smoother to the top layer. Okay. Next, and oh, this is bright light. You know what? Let me go take this group and I'll just disabling everything. Easy way is just enable and disable. So be sure everything. Now we have this dark here. And for this, I'm just going to my 3 lights group and re-enable effect on the rendering. So we can preview a little bit of the lighting. Okay, and let's go set to the 3, power of 3. And that way we can see the lights. Again, I just like this way I was set up because I want darker on the bottom and light fall out, kind of a little bit brighter here. Okay, we have our details. We have altitude variation that is well affecting. Again, we can go very crazy high altitude variation. And this is what's happening. It's a lower and highest peaks in % between them. This one is very fun to play around. And you can see sometimes they can work better. Not, but right here, because our scales, for example, this bottom pushed up. So it's going a little bit too high. Again, we don't need to do this way. Let's go back to our 500. Okay, ambient light is what we applied. And again, scale. If we look, this is, imagine this is fractals, yes? And overall what the scale does, it's increase those fractals or decrease. So we're going 0.3. It should be have it bigger details overall. We won't have these small details. And again, the clouds, because it's fractals, it can look different on your machine. It depends what algorithm and everything was using, how it's seeded. And 0.1 should be a little bit smaller, lower, smaller with the details. Again, it's kind of fun things to play around with that. And I think this is group maybe a little bit too low, so let me go bring them up. Just remove some hot spots right here on the top. Okay, so overall, here's my experiment with lighting. You can play around with creating your own fog, and you can see this is our atmosphere. Look, the cloud, see how tall cloud's 25, but we preview only on the bottom. It's because we apply feathering, we apply details and so on and stuff. Okay, let's go take our sunlight and see what's happening if we bring our sun above the ground. Okay, that will should affect on our fog a little bit more because the thickness and other stuff. That if you want still create in daylight and you want to create like fog, we definitely need to rework on the density. So let's go ahead, atmosphere editor, and in this case what we need to do, it's a density and opacity, so we'll work with that. For example, let's go drop to maybe like 400 only here. Okay, and you'll see we'll start having less kind of more elements viewable, less thickness coming through this, so it can be work as well nicer. The other suggestion for you, if you create and you want to have it like on some field, this is infinity spreading on the cloud. So what I would recommend you to have it limited to color zone. So if we look on the top, you can see right here is our ring. This is our camelus. Okay, and you can also work with how much fallout you can do it. But if you do this, be sure your cloud is located on proper place and so on, because you are start playing with kind of zones on your cloud. And so thank you very much for watching this video. I hope you find kind of interesting and give you another way to experiment with the atmospheres inside the Vue to create more unique and interesting look. Okay, and let's just example. So I'm just still playing with the numbers, and again, this is kind of fun things because by adjusting these numbers you can see how they will go. And in daytime, because we have it quite a bit glow, you can see we have it with lower density and everything. But if you do in a nighttime, you want pop up your density, you can pop up actually quite a bit high, 2000, you know, to create this thick city kind of fog. And hopefully that will help you to create a low-lying fog in the daytime or nighttime city or outside inside your Vue scenery. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, post the comment, subscribe to the channel. It's helped me to growing and deliver more videos for you. Again, thank you for watching this video.